In this video, I want to demonstrate how to make the core and cavity bodies as shown here. So first I'm going to Control Tab back to my other part. Now that we've created the surfaces for the core and the cavity and the parting line, the next step is to create the parting surface. So I'm going to select the parting surfaces. I'm going to tell it I want it to be perpendicular to the direction of pull. It will have recognized my parting line. And then here I want to tell it how far out should the parting surface go from the parting line. So this should just go bigger than the block you want for the top and bottom half of the mold steel. In this case, I'm going to say 1.5 inches and that to leave the corners sharp. I'll say OK, and now I have my parting surface. Next, I'm going to select the top plane. I'm going to look normal to it. And in this plane, I'm going to sketch a box that represents the core and the cavity for my mold. So I'm going to select the center point rectangle, start it on the origin, move out and click. I'll use mouse gestures to activate smart dimensioning, and I'll make this size 3.5, and I'll make this side of my box 7.5. So with my sketch fully defined, I'll exit the sketch and I'll go back and look at the isometric view. I still have the sketch selected, and now I'm going to tell I want to create a tooling split using this sketch. So what I want to do next is I want to tell how thick the top block should be, and I'll make that 1.5 inches, and I'll make the bottom block 1.5 inches. So it sees my core and my cavity and my parting surface. I'll select OK. Now that I've created the tooling split, I'll expand this. I have 3 surface bodies. So I'll just hide this one. And I'm going to hide all of my surface bodies. So this tooling split is the 1/2 of my mold. I'll just hide it. And this tooling split is the other half of my mold. And this is my original part. So I'm going to turn these solids back on. And next I'm going to separate them. So I'm going to zoom out a bit. With this top one selected, I'm going to tell it to Insert, Features, Move, Copy. I'm going to tell it that I want to move the body, so I've unchecked Copy, and I'm just going to free drag it in this direction and say OK. I'm going to do that one more time by grabbing this part. I'm going to say Insert, Features, Move. Again, make sure the Copy option is turned off, and I'm just going to drag this down. And I'm going to say OK, and that allows me to see the 3 solid bodies easier of this part. Lastly, to save each part as its own file, I'm going to right click on this one, and I'm going to tell it to insert into a new part. So here it'll allow me to change my mind if I've selected the wrong part. I can also browse to put it in a different folder, but I'm just going to say OK, which will put it in the same folder as I'm currently saved in. I'll answer yes to this. And it's going to ask me what I want to call this part. I'm going to name this one Core and the other part Cavity. So I'll say OK. So here it tells me it was created in the context of another part. Just Control Tab back to the other part. And I'll do that again with the lower half. I'll right click on it, tell it to insert into a new part. Say OK to save it in the same location I'm already saving this part. And this time I'm going to call it the cavity. And again, here we can see it was created in the context of another part.